סוניה קאן, בת 16, פולין. מוטלי פצ'רניק, 1 year old, Poland. Valeria Leicht, 12 years old, Czechoslovakia.
Yad Vashem is so much more than a Holocaust museum. Situated on 45 acres on the Mount of Remembrance in Jerusalem, it is the world center for documentation, research, education, and commemoration of the Holocaust. The Holocaust is a defining moment of human history, in which 6 million Jews, including 1.5 million children, were murdered by Nazi Germany and its collaborators.
I'm walking in the Valley of the Jewish Communities. Each stone is a symbolic tombstone of a Jewish community that perished during the Holocaust in Europe.
The Holocaust was the attempt by Nazi Germany and the German people and all their collaborators and those who cooperated with them to eliminate the Jews off the face of the earth.
Okay, so my name is Eliezer Ayalon. I was born in Poland in 1928 in the city Radom.
That's the Holocaust, where my parents and my family, 100 people, were killed in cold blood.
I had 2 brothers and a sister. I was the youngest in the family, the only one that survived the Holocaust.
Whether Christians in Germany or in the occupied countries realized it or not, they were in fact facing a challenge to their faith.
Yad Vashem is entrusted with the mission of safeguarding the memory of the Holocaust and imparting its meaning for future generations. The very name Yad Vashem, a memorial and a name, comes from the Bible, where the prophet Isaiah proclaims God's promise, "To them I will give within my temple and its walls a memorial and a name better than sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that will not be cut off."
From the Mount of Remembrance, from Yad Vashem, where we look to our history that represent not just the history of the last century, but at least a history of 2 millennium, it's a mission for the Jewish people and the Christian to try and build together something that will bring us together to our roots, which are the same.
Yad Vashem was created in 1953 by an act of the Knesset, Israel's parliament, in order for it to become the national memorial to the Holocaust for Israel and the Jewish people.
For me, Yad Vashem is the place where I am the closest with my family. And all my family, about 100 people, are inscribed in the books of Yad Vashem.
Overall Christian silence during the Holocaust was deafening. Attitudes toward the Jews during the Shoah or Holocaust ranged from indifference to hostility to outright collaboration with the Nazis. Sadly, the majority watched as their Jewish neighbors were rounded up, taken away, never to return. While only a brave few took risks to help, many benefited from the Jewish homes, businesses, and belongings they were forced to leave behind. The roots of antisemitism run deep in the soil and soul of Europe. A very specific responsibility for the events of the Holocaust is shared by Christians. The Holocaust could not have taken place unless the groundwork for anti-Jewish attitude had already been laid.
The church was compromised to quite a degree. People were not well educated. They didn't know really that this was false teaching. Even today, very often I meet people who do not understand what they encounter from some of the theologians of the 1930s, 1940s, that this was false teaching, and they think this is a teaching of the church. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And wherever Jewish people are at stake, it is also that the good Christians are at stake. This always goes together in history. It was in Nazi Germany as much as it is today.
And we stand beside a people who have suffered too long in the nations, and particularly during the awful years of the Holocaust. The wickedness and the abyss of evil of the Holocaust is well known to many of us and needs no explanation, because we can never really plumb the depths of such wickedness and evil. But we can ensure for successive generations that this never happens again.
In spite of the silence of millions and millions of people worldwide during the Holocaust and the resultant Shoah, or destruction, of 1/3 of all Jews in the Nazi death camps, killing sites, and ghettos, there were a few courageous souls who risked their lives to rescue, protect, and save Jewish people during one of the darkest hours of human history.
I helped save 160 Jewish people by hiding them with righteous Gentiles, with righteous non-Jews.
And it was this challenge that was asking them to act on behalf of their Jewish neighbors, to stand in the gap between death and the Jews. And some of them felt the call in their heart and they responded, and others didn't.
And it was very, very dangerous, not only for me, for the person who was hiding, and for the person who was a Jew who was hiding there. To keep us alive, somebody had to die or somebody had to suffer.
Thousands of trees have been planted at the Yad Vashem campus in honor of the righteous among the nations. One of those trees is for Corrie ten Boom. The ten Boom family was an ordinary Christian family living in Haarlem in Holland. They managed to save many Jews by giving them a hiding place in their own home while risking their lives.
And when Caspar ten Boom was left away, he said to the Nazi officer, "There comes a time in a man's life when he has to decide whether he will obey God's law or man's."
The story is so very, very important for everyone living in this world.
We must remember that the smoke from the crematoriums of the death camps in Auschwitz, Birkenau, Treblinka, Sobibor will evaporate without a trace if we allow ourselves to forget. And if, God forbid, the smoke of those chimneys are forgotten, there will be no meaning left in our existence as a civilized society. And that is my duty and the duty of many others who are speaking.
The Christian Friends of Yad Vashem was officially established in October 2006 in cooperation with the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, to raise awareness about the Holocaust and its universal lessons today for Christian communities around the world. An annual Christian leadership seminar has been launched at Yad Vashem's International School for Holocaust Studies, ensuring that pastors and Christian leaders will be prepared to share this vital information.
We have to actually address the painful experiences of the past and why the church was absent or took such a silent stance towards the oppression of the Jewish people during that period.
Help Yad Vashem preserve the memory of the past and educate for the future. This is now your time to stand up and be counted to say, never again.
We invite you to join in our activities, whatever your denomination or church.
It is so very important that you get involved and that you feel what we all feel.
And I would therefore thank you all for being a part of this project and invite you once again to stand with us and become friends of the Christian Desk at Yad Vashem.
Join us in our work as an expression of supporting these institutions, the State of Israel.
With that in mind, it is very important for Christian communities to join the circle of Friends of Yad Vashem.